Flexmaster Subo was sitting with several of his lords. They all rose when Kenom entered their box. "Thank you so much for joining us," said Subo. "You honor us." "Thank you for asking," replied Kenom. "I understand this may be a great day for Dome 4. "Yes, indeed it may." Kenom took his seat next to Master Subo, who leaned over and said quietly to him, "Thank you for coming. This means a lot to my lords. Myself, I care little for these games, but..." Then he added, "And thank you again for the wonderful gift of those two wonderful paintings. I have hung them in my friendship gallery." Kenom smiled and nodded. The winner of the jumping competition had been awarded his prize and was making his final lap of the stadium. He was also from Dome 7. It was time now for the running competition. "This is the competition to see who is the fastest patrolman on Ob," said Lord Clay. "We have a new patrolman this year that should win. His name is Flexton. He is very fast." "Is that not so, Master?" "Indeed he is," said Master Flynn. True to his prediction, Patrolman Nim did win the competition. He ran the 16 leagues in 7 minutes, full 2 minutes ahead of his closest competitor. All the lords in Box 4 were very pleased, and Patrolman Nim, they were all stood up in honor of his accomplishment. However, while Patrolman Nim was being awarded his prize, Kenom remained less than enthusiastic. He felt he should retaliate for what he now perceived as a slight over the two abstract paintings that went into the friendship gallery. He wanted to shoot a high-leb brain bullet across the bow of these upstart, low-leb organic body Flextons. Flexlord Flynn, puzzled by his lack of enthusiasm, turned to Kenom and said, "Patrolman Nim is truly the fastest patrolman on Ob, for he reached the finish line in less time than any other patrolman. Is that not a worthy accomplishment?" Kenom said, "Well, yes, certainly it is, but I couldn't help thinking that, in reality, he's no faster than any other patrolman in this dome, including you and me." All the Flexlords looked puzzled, then turned to Master Subo for a response. Master Subo paused for a moment, and after thinking on it, said, "How can this be? We have never left our seats, yet you say we are as fast as Patrolman Nim, who has just run 16 leagues in 7 minutes?" Kenom replied, "Yes, it is true. Let me explain. As you say, Patrolman Nim, running as fast as he can run 16 leagues in 7 minutes, and has proved in this contest we just witnessed." "That is true," replied Master Subo. "No patrolman can run faster." All the lords agreed. "Well, perhaps," continued Kenom, "but what if the distance to be run was shorter, say 14 leagues? Would Patrolman Nim go from start line to finish line in a shorter time, thereby being even faster?" "Indeed he would," replied Master Subo, "for the less distance to be traveled would mean less time to get from the starting line to the finish line. He would indeed be faster." Then is it not also true that even if Patrolman Nim traveled at the speed of sound, he would need some small amount of time to get from the start line to the finish line?" "Yes, that is also true. Even traveling at the speed of sound, some time would be needed, but very little." "Then," said Kenom, "as you have also agreed, the only way to reduce the time, thereby increasing the speed, to get from start line to finish line, would be to shorten the distance between the two lines. Is that not true?" "Yes," said Master Subo, "I agree. That would be the only way. Therefore," said Kenom, "if you bring the finish line up to the starting line, the sportsman who just stands on both lines is truly the fastest, for he is at both the starting line and the finish line at the same moment." Master Subo looked at the Flexlords, thought for a moment, and then said, "Yes, I suppose that would be true. So then," continued Kenom, "if the fastest patrolman alive just had to remain in one spot, are we not just as fast by remaining in our seats?" Master Subo, then realizing the joke, turned to his lords, and with a smile, "I'm convinced of it." "Well then," said Kenom, "it's settled. No one is faster than we are. We should go down and get our rewards. The lords, still a bit puzzled and confused, managed a weak laugh as they realized they had been taken by a superior brain. After the games were over and everyone was filing out, Kenom mentioned the tunnel delays and the poor condition of the Verton maintenance men to the commander. He asked if anything could be done to rectify the situation. The commander introduced him to Special Patrolman Dorn, who was in charge of dome security. Patrolman Dorn said that tunnel maintenance was under the authority of supervision of Vertons in Dome 7. He suggested he visit the dome and inquire into the matter there. Kenom thanked the patrolman as the commander and the rest of the entourage boarded the secure shuttle and returned for the return trip to the Central Domes. Kenom had had enough for one day, so he boarded a shuttle and returned to the mini-dome, while Enew in another shuttle proceeded to Dome 7.